Welcome to the Holding Time podcast. Here we discuss breastfeeding in all its complexity, the ups and downs, the challenges, the triumphs. Whether you're expectant, a new mother, or simply interested, I hope you'll appreciate the incredible warrior women who are featured in this series.
It's worked out all right, but I've had my moments. So we were really lucky. We were quite smug. In the hospital, he latched straight on, and the breastfeeding lady came round and we could hear her telling the other midwives, going, that's a dream, that baby, he's just latched, he knows exactly what he's doing, looks like he's done it before. We were like, oh, brilliant, this is great. But then you get that fear later where you go home and you're like, but what now? How do I know he's really still latching great? Am I holding him right? Is he getting enough milk? Is this the right latch? What should I be looking for? So that smugness went pretty quick.
And what was your preparation? Like, did you know much about breastfeeding before giving birth?
I went on a workshop. There was a free workshop. I think it was called Blossom. So they did some slides and went through the different latches, different holds. And then I re-looked at all the slides before he came, thinking I need to remind myself. But that was pretty much all I knew, that and what other people tell you. But I'm learning fast that what other people tell you is all contradictory and nobody says the same as somebody else, and you then get yourself in even more of a muddle. I think now that we're in a nice flow, it's because I just go with, right, what does he want? Is he comfy? There we go.
In terms of your journey as a mother, pregnancy and so on, has it been a straightforward?
It has, really. I can't complain, really, but it wasn't what I thought. I had this theory that I would be this lovely hippie pregnant lady and everything would be glowing and lovely, and I was sick, I was tired, I was aching, but he was £10.14 born. This I didn't realise. So honestly, the pains I had and the heaviness, and like I just wasn't expecting to be this tired, and my ribs, the investigators thinking my liver something was wrong, but actually it was just because he was that tall and that big. He was squashing it. So it wasn't what I thought, but I would do it all again a million times over.
Oh, did you always want to have children, or?
Yeah, but I had endometriosis, so I didn't think it was going to happen, in all honesty.
It's often not diagnosed until quite late. Did it take you a while to get it diagnosed, or?
I suppose it did, because I had trouble from when I first started my periods, and I think I was about 25, but really I think that's quite early compared to other people. It just so happened I got bupa through work. I started doing bupa insurance. When I went to them, they did it straight away, whereas the doctors, it was just backwards and forwards, A&E, backwards and forwards scans. So like I said, I just never thought it would happen. And Gareth has 2 children already, so I'd accepted that's it. And then he came along. I thought I had COVID at the start of last year, and here he was.
So basically this is your miracle baby.
Yeah, he is.
Did you have any of the procedures for endometriosis? Did you need to?
I had 2 laparoscopies over the years. So yeah, I'd had one about, was it a year before.
And did they treat the endometriosis?
Yeah, they burn it off, I think. Don't they burn it all off? But like I say, I'm well aware it then just starts again, doesn't it? But it gives a bit of relief.
Yeah, I tell you what though, my top tip, I'm convinced that breastfeeding cured me of endometriosis. I don't have it anymore.
Do you not?
No.
They didn't used to say to me, get pregnant and it might go.
Absolutely. It's true.
Do that when you're not as fertile.
I know. That's the thing, isn't it? Pregnancy is the one thing that feels really out of reach. But if you do manage to get pregnant, breastfeed as long as you possibly can. Because the whole time you're breastfeeding, you're keeping your estrogen levels down. So pregnancy has kind of reset your whole body. And so the endometriosis is kind of gone.
Mm-hmm.
Starting here with no endometriosis, it's like being a 12-year-old girl again. I think there's a lot of complexity around endometriosis and breastfeeding, and they're quite connected. So, for example, one of the theories behind tongue tie is that women taking folic acid for a long time can cause posterior tongue tie.
Oh.
And of course, women who have fertility issues are much more likely to take folic acid for longer, because they're trying to get pregnant for sometimes years at a time. So you're supposed to take it for 3 months. You know, if you're going through repeated cycles of IVF, for example, you'd be you're told to take folic acid. And then when my baby was tongue tied, the midwife said to me, well, yeah, we often find that women who've had IVF can't breastfeed. I mean, it's an unfortunate word. It's poorly understood, the whole experience, you know. And then the other part of the cycle is that if breastfeeding is genuinely some sort of cure for endometriosis, then women with posterior tongue tie babies, their posterior tongue tie isn't diagnosed, they give up because they're in too much pain, they get double mastitis, then they don't get the benefit of breastfeeding for their endometriosis, so then they continue to experience fertility issues. All this ignorance around the subject that is really sad, because there's a lot of unnecessary suffering. So it's just really lovely to have a success story, of getting pregnant without assistance, I'm assuming. And
and I keep thinking, because there's another friend I've got, and she puts a lot on Facebook about endometriosis, she's trying to read, and she's having on about her fertility, and I'm dying to go to her, look, but there's no magic. I don't know what it was. It was January, and we did the whole health kick of we're going to eat healthy, we're going to exercise, but it's nothing I haven't done before. I've had every book on endometriosis. I've tried diet. I've tried different antiperspirants because that has a different effect on your hormones. None of that's ever worked before. So it's like I'd love to have that thing where I go, oh, it could have been this, but I honestly can't think. I've racked my brains and I honestly can't think what it was that I did different for him to come along.
One thing that breastfeeding mothers talk about a lot to me is that they don't get to complain about breastfeeding to anyone, because if they do, everyone says just give them formula.
To me, I think it's actually easier anyway. It's natural. It is. It's what he needs. You're not worrying if it's sterile. You're not worrying if you're allowed to reheat it or warm it. Or, honestly, the amount when I start looking, I was like, what? It's just that bit, I think, about going out and doing it. But we've breastfed on the beach and breastfed in the corner of a restaurant so far, so we're getting there with it going out. For me, I'm more worried about, I'm going to make them uncomfortable. And then I think, what am I worried about them for? Because that's how I ended up breastfeeding on the beach, because I was in a tiny little cafe. And I thought, you're a bit on top of each other. What will people think? Oh, I'll go and sit on the beach and do it. And then I sat on the beach and all the old men walked past with all their dogs. And I thought, what am I doing? I may as well have just stayed where I was.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is you do that sort of thing and then you learn from it. And then in the end, you just do it in the cafe and you look around, you realize everybody is looking away. The odd person gives you a smile and absolutely everyone's happy for you to do it. I think we need to change how women feel about breastfeeding in public to make them realize it is acceptable, and socially people are not going to be giving them a hard time, because I think that's a big anxiety.
It is. It's the more you see, isn't it? The more normal it is. But I don't think I've seen that many women breastfeeding, and I'm fine with it. Well, always was. But if you haven't seen many, then straight away I'm sitting in the cat thinking, is it all right here? Am I allowed to here? What's the rules? And they're going, there's no rules. You're allowed to. And I'm, I know, but.
Yeah, and also, it's the cycle. So the more that, let's say, children see breastfeeding, teenagers see breastfeeding, the more likely they are to have an easier time of breastfeeding, because you do actually need to see it to be comfortable with it in yourself.
Yeah, that's it. Did
you experience any of that sense of discomfort when you first started, like, oh, this is weird, or?
No, like I said, I was really lucky with him, and it was that bonding bit, although I keep laughing. I thought this was supposed to be this lovely bit where baby looks in your eyes. He doesn't. He just, I want to be on, I will headbutt your boob, and then I will fall asleep. So it's lovely getting the cuddles, but I don't get the lovely staring into each other's eyes.
He is only 6 weeks, so
yeah.
That is coming. I assure you, that's coming. But it's like at 5 months when I photograph mothers, and the baby's like looking up in their eyes, and their hands going up, and it's stroking their hair, and that's when you get all of that.
Yeah, Gareth calls me the milk machine at the minute, because it's literally just like, I will find that boob and I will headbutt it until I get there.
Thanks for listening, and thanks to everyone involved, our funders, Cheshire and Merseyside Women's Health and Maternity Programme, Arts Council England Lottery Awards for their support, along with all the amazing mothers and partners who have helped to make this project happen. You can find out more about the project by visiting holdingtime.org.